Good day, ma'am.
We're here in front of you to discuss our topic, which is all about the controversy of Rizal. Where we introduce ourselves first, I am Marilyn P. Gomanit.
I am Albert Hinampas.
And Alvin C. Hinampas, the first reporter, the retraction of controversial of Rizal. First, we have an agenda, background of the retraction controversial. Second, the retraction letter. Third, critics and skeptics. Fourth, cultural impact. And fifth, the conclusion. And the last, references. Background of the retraction controversial. Dr. Rizal was the national hero of the Philippines. Was executed on December 30, 1896. For his role in inspiring the Philippines Revolution. Rizal was a known critic of the Spanish fairs and the Catholic Church, especially through his novels Noli Me Tangere and Il Filibusterismo. A document surfaced just before his execution and allegedly signed by Rizal Retraction his writings against the church and affirming his return to the Catholic faith. His these retraction letters has sparked decades of debate among historian, scholar, and public. Openly criticized the Catholic Church. In the Philippine society, in 1996, Rizal was arrested and executed by the Spanish colonial government, inspiring the Philippines Revolution. However, just before his execution, a letter has surfaced retracting his criticism of the church and embrace the Catholic faith. A retraction letter, allegedly signed by Rizal, state that disowned his past writings and was ready to return to the church. This document, which some say he signed hours before his death, has led a long-running controversy. The retraction letter, discovered in the 1935 by Father Manuel Garcia. The letter claimed Rizal renounced his errors against the Catholic Church and expressed repentance. No original copy of the letter signed by Rizal has ever been found. The retraction controversy began to gain attraction in 1935, almost 40 years after Rizal's death, when Father Manuel Garcia, a Jesuit priest, claimed to have discovered a copy of the retraction letter, allegedly signed by Rizal. In this letter, Rizal supposedly retracted his criticism of the Catholic Church, condemned his earlier writings, and expressed his return to the Catholic faith. Multiple versions of the letter have existed when inconsistent wording and dates. One said 1890, and others said 1896, and even unusual dates such as 1890. No? However, the original signed document was nowhere to be found, giving suspicious of either it's real or fabricated. The retraction controversy began to gain attraction in 1935, almost 40 years after Rizal's death, when Father Manuel Garcia, a Jesuit priest, claimed to have discovered a copy of the retraction letter, allegedly signed by Rizal. In this letter, Rizal supposedly retracted his criticism of the Catholic Church, condemned his earlier writings, and expressed his return to the Catholic faith. Multiple versions of the letter have existed when inconsistent wording and dates. One said 1890, and others said 1896, and even unusual dates such as 1890. No? However, the original signed document was nowhere to be found, giving suspicious of either it's real or fabricated.
Albert Nampas, the second reporter. My topic is critics and skeptics. Critics and skeptics. Rafael Palma called the Retraction a boy's fraud. And the second one is Ricardo Pascual. Use handwriting analysis to argue the letter was forget. And the third one is Frank Laubach and Austin Guetes believe the retraction was inconsistent with Rizal character. Skeptics. No original document found. No official marriage record with Josephine Bracken. And consistent version with different dates and wording. Rizal panel actions aligned more with nationalist martyr than a repentant Catholic. While some historians and members of the church support the retraction authenticity, a significant number of scholars firmly reject it. One of the most outspoken critics was Rafael Palma, a former president of the University of the Philippines, and prominent Rizal biographer. He dismissed the retraction as nothing more than a pious fraud. Publication biographer, Christian created to protect the Catholic Church's reputation. Ricardo Pascual, another key figure, used handwriting analysis to argue that the document was forged. He found inconsistencies and strokes and ink compared to Rizal known writings. This scholar like Frank Laubach and Austin Gottes emphasized how retraction didn't align with Rizal deeply held values and belief after dedicating his life to fighting injustice and exposing corruption, especially within the church. It seemed highly unlikely that he would certainly take it all back. Critics also point out that there's no original signed copy of the retraction. Several versions exist with different wordings and dates. Ursal's marriage to Josephine Bracken, which was supposedly conducted after the retraction, has no surviving church record, and finally Rizal's defiant execution, where he faced death without fear, reflected his commitment to his deals, not someone who had just renounced them. For these reasons, many continue to believe that the retraction never truly happened, or at least that we can't be sure without solid evidence.
Marilyn Gumanet, the last reporter. The cultural impact. The restriction controversy has inspired a wide range of cultural response, from films and books to academic debates and expressions. One of the most notable examples is the 2000 film Bayaning Third World, which uses a documentary-style format to investigate whether Rizal truly retracted his views. The film represents multiple perspectives, ultimately emphasizing the ambiguity of the historical evidence. Kanya-kanya Rizal, walang makakaalam kung ano ang totoo. Bayaning Third World 2000. The conclusion. The Rizal retraction controversy may never fully resolve, but it challenged us to see Rizal not just as a hero but as a man of deep conviction. Whether he retracted or not, his courage, intellect, and love for country remain. In the end, Rizal remained a symbol of hope, sacrifice, and ongoing struggle for justice. His true legacy lies in the freedom he helped awaken. Beyond historians and scholars, Rizal retraction controversy has deeply influenced Filipino culture and collective memory. The debate has been portrayed in films, novels, stage plays, and classroom discussions. Most notably in the critically acclaimed 2000 films Bayaning Third World. This film takes a unique approach by investigating whether Rizal really retracted or not. They interview historical characters, dissect testimonies, and ultimately arrive at a powerful conclusions that the truth may never be fully known. One of the film's lines is walang makakalam ko ng totoo, or no one can truly know the truth. This gave rise of the idea of kanya-kanyang Rizal, that every Filipino has their own versions of Rizal, shape of their beliefs, values, and understanding of history. Whether or not the retraction is real, the cultural impact is undeniable. It continues to shape how we define our heroes, our history, and even ourselves. The conclusion. In conclusion, the Rizal retraction controversy may never be fully resolved, but it challenged us to see Rizal not just as a hero, but as a man of deep conviction, whether he retracted or not. His courage, intellect, and love of our country remain in the Rizal. In the end, Rizal remains as a symbol of hope, sacrifice, and the ongoing struggle for justice. His true legacy lies in the freedom he helped overcome.